What's going on, people? My name is SENCE, and I'm here to welcome you to the Hip Hop and Politics podcast hosted by me, SENCE, and meriot. On this Hip Hop and Politics podcast, we talk about everything from the Tekashi69s, Trippy Reds, all the little mumble rappers, to the lyrical joiner Lucas, Tech9s. We give album breakdowns, song breakdowns, we speak about videos, and certain things going on inside hip-hop culture. We also call ourselves the Hip Hop and Politics podcast. We also do politics from the current administration, previous administrations. We cover the news, conspiracies, and certain things that are going on in that culture as well. If you notice, hip-hop, pop culture, and politics used to be intertwined. So we're here today to fuse that again, and I'm here to welcome you with my co-host Meriot to the Hip Hop and Politics podcast, episode 1. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
It's cold outside. I want to see your face again. I'm so deprived. How
Contrary, doing it different.
When we first met, it felt like you could reverse stress like a child when they take their first steps. You was the best, we wasn't cursed yet.
That lives a few doors down. Mm-hmm. And the teenager went outside for a moment to talk to her friends or whatnot.
Right.
And it was like during the daytime. It wasn't nothing out of the ordinary. And they're all sitting on the couch watching, one of those old floor models. Mm-hmm. And out of nowhere, boom, the fucking door flies open. And they hear these heavy footsteps, like boots. Now, mind you, this is around Vietnam time.
Right.
And my uncle Snaz, which is my mother's older brother, he was about 18 or 19. He had died in the war. So they believe it may have been his ghost.
Was it like he lived there or whatever?
I don't know, but it was my grandmother's house. So, you know what I mean? That might have been the last place that he was. But my mother's cousin, Franny, was in his crib upstairs. Mm-hmm. And the apparition went straight up the steps and went to the baby upstairs. And they could hear, I don't know if you know anything about ghostly lore, but it is believed that ghosts speak Latin.
Really?
Yeah. So when you hear them, especially on recordings and things, if you ever heard like
the
murmurs,
EVP and shit?
Yeah, like when you hear their murmurs, sometimes it kind of sounds like mumbling. Well,
mumble rap.
Yeah,
mumble rap ghosts.
Mumble ghosts. But they could hear whatever this apparition is mumbling to my mother's cousin Franny. Which, of course, he's older than us now, but he was just a baby then.
Right.
And they're all, whispering amongst themselves, my mother and her sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yo, we got to go get Franny. Like, who's going to go get Franny? So my Aunt Sheila, which is my mother's older sister by 2 years, I believe, was the brave one to go get him.
Right.
But when she crept around the corner to go up the stairs, Franny was at the top of the steps.
Damn. Kind of like some exorcist type shit. Yeah.
So the apparition lifted him up out of the crib and put him on the top of the steps. Shit. Isn't that some creepy shit? So they get Franny or whatnot, and, everything dissipates. It goes back to normal. But the house was freezing cold.
Ooh,
in
yeah.
the middle of the summer.
I heard that's like a sign. Yeah.
When my grandma got home, she was like, what in the fuck?
We just got all that for the podcast, actually. I recorded that. So, all right, here we go. Hip Hop and Politics podcast, baby. SENCE and meriot. That was the ghost story.
Yeah, that's a
meriot,
true story, folks.
Dealing with the
Witnessed
Vietnam veteran mumble rap ghost.
My Uncle Snaz. My Uncle Snaz is a mumble rapper. Been dead for like 50 years.
Yep.
But he came in the house. Real shit.
All right, man. So, we're recording. Let's get into that Tekashi69 thing. I think he just had an article up or whatever. We'd get into that.
Indeed. All right, so Breaking news, everybody. According to All Urban Central, 7 hours ago, he posted that Tekashi and Tory Lanez had a feud over Cardi B, saying that Tory was better than Tekashi. Or
what's Tory from Toronto or something?
I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I thought he was
honest.
from Canada.
But I haven't even actually looked at the argument play out yet. So I'll play a little bit just so you guys can overhear what they're talking about.
But listen to me. I'm going to tell you what. Lil Baby got...
That's Tekashi talking now.
Lil Baby got the shit with Drake, right? He got Drip Too Hard that's going crazy right now. He got My Dog that's hard. Fuck this. All right, let's ask you a real question. We on live, right? All right, check. No, let's ask a real question. All right, boom.
All right, they bullshitting. They just talking. They was live on Twitter. And I guess it went viral because of the controversy involved in it. We stopped the video. But as far as people like Tekashi and Tory Lanez, right now they winning. They winning. We live in a savage society right now. And I realized over the last few years of me being an artist and me following hip-hop and how it goes, the more outlandish you are, the more people respond to you.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely like it's antic driven. I don't know if you ever heard of the dude Russ, but he's like a rapper. He's like a lyrical dude. He did an interview on the Breakfast Club one time, and he said, and it's kind of true. He was like, "Oh, if you want to blow up today, like literally just put a video of yourself on Instagram throwing a brick through a window or something." So they're going back and forth. You said it's about Cardi B.
Yeah. So from what I take from it, Cardi B must have took to Twitter and said either 6ix9ine is better than Tory Lanez or Tory Lanez is better than 6ix9ine. Honestly, folks, this just hit my laptop, so I don't even know exactly the full story. We were just on the topic of talking about the new age rappers, and Tekashi is like pretty much the most popular one because of just how outrageous he is.
Right.
I like to think. Right now, Cardi is constantly in the tabloids and on YouTube. Pretty much every reporter on YouTube has benefited from talking about Cardi B because Cardi B is just that much of a hot topic.
Well, the thing, like with Tory Lanez, because I mean, I'm a fan of him, but Tory's like a singer. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He's from Canada. He sings, but he did like a Sway freestyle recently. He proved that he could rap, but like moving on from that, them having, I like to call it like little kid confrontations, because like where we're from, right, you had a confrontation like, 2004, like you'd meet up, whatever, fight, argue. Now it's like little kids yelling at each other and crying on Instagram. Shit. But like moving on from that, there's always this debate, because Cardi B and Tekashi are both from New York, so there's a debate who's number one in New York. So who do you think out of those two is the better in New York? Not even just numbers.
Without a doubt, Cardi B. And the reason why is because Cardi B stays true to the code of the streets. I don't proclaim to know anybody in the industry on a personal level, but what I can say is I'm 30 years old and I came from the era of Tupac and Biggie.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people in the millennial age don't really understand what people say when they say that, but I'm gonna try my best to explain it. Back then, we came from the ghetto just like any inner city rapper usually comes from, but we had a mix of still respecting the working man's life.
Yeah.
So we learn morals based on that. Now, in this new millennial age, a lot of the parents of people like Tekashi and them, I would assume, are younger and from a time after Biggie and Pac, towards when they were in their prime, they were growing up with a more savage mentality. They didn't necessarily stay at home and do chores, and they didn't necessarily help their parents to make money and things like that. It was more like a drug use type of mentality and be out in the streets and just get money, sell drugs, this type shit.
And they didn't have social media back then either.
Big point right there. You know what I mean? So with all of that combined, it created a new breed of people who everything's fast. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Cardi B is obviously a person who understands the old ways and the new ways. Mm-hmm. Because when you hear her speak, she's speaking from a tone that may be savage, but with an undertone of class behind it. Whereas, in my opinion, the new age male rappers, they don't have that same class. For instance, listen to Tekashi, then listen to 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz is older. He got more class with what he says and does, yet his genre of music is the exact same as Tekashi's.
Yeah. Yep, and here it says Cardi B was born in 92, so she's obviously older. She's had more experience in the game. A lot of people know her from, I think it was the Love and Hip Hop or whatever, and she kind of built her platform. But me just being a fan of lyrics, I think bar for bar, she's obviously better than Tekashi. Sure. I mean, I've heard songs where, you know, she's killing it just outside of the hit songs, and there's always that saying, like, you can take the hood out of you can take somebody out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. So, I mean, I agree, like, she's definitely king, queen, whatever if you want to be politically correct, whatever, like, just say the queen of New York. But no, I agree, because, like, a lot of the dudes, especially, like, the new age, I mean, they call us millennials, but they would call them like Gen X, like Generation X, like now. I don't know if it's more of a feminine thing or what, but when they have problems with people, like they just get on Instagram and they cry to people and,
I'm from the time period
up.
where if you get to talking that shit, niggas show up at your
it's
crib.
On, yeah. And, you know, just like with the social media, all the broadcasting of illegal shit, like anonymity doesn't even exist anymore. You know, and like with Tekashi, for example, he flashes a lot on social media. And one thing I think about is like a lot of people flash money now, but it's like, you think the IRS doesn't have like an Instagram or they can't look at you? Like they're always looking at something like that. And then kind of segue into the next thing with Tekashi. You know, recently there was like a shooting or whatever. He was at Kanye's mansion with Nicki Minaj. You want to go into that?
Yeah, let's go into that a little bit. All right, so reports say that I want to say 5 shots rung in the direction of where Nicki Minaj's trailer would be set up.
I thought it was at like Kanye's mansion or something.
I'm not exactly sure the location. I do just know that it was a video shoot, and where Nicki's trailer was, it got hit up.
Right.
Now, if she had been there, there's a good chance that we might not be talking to Nicki right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So that controversy has got everybody looking at Tekashi a little sideways, because he was pre-warned that his antics might be dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, hey, I've been to jail. I've dabbled in the streets. No kingpin or nothing, but I know the streets. And if you a gangster, you a gangster. Hey, Tekashi, I get it. But at the same time, you got to make sure that your shit don't become everybody else's shit.
Do you think this is a result of him, like somebody trying to...
I mean, who else would want to kill anybody there?
I don't see anybody wanting to kill Kanye or Nicki.
Yeah, well, I don't know, though. You know what I mean? It's pure speculation. I'm not going to put it all on Tekashi, but out of those 3, the one who really has that kind of edge would obviously be Tekashi. But at the same time, Nicki been beefing with a lot of bitches too, and these bitches is gangster nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Did you see? There's like a video of Tekashi. Because a while ago, a lot of the gangs out there were trying to ban him from coming to LA. You know, they say that whatever, he's faking the funk, that he's not really a part of the gang or whatever.
Yeah, he has some issues with Chicago, too.
Yeah, and I saw a video recently, maybe last week, where he was, I don't know if he was in some building or something, if he was there to do a concert or what, but a lot of people are saying that he's got issues with YG, who's like real heavy out there and is really popular. And it was one of his associates was trying to get at Tekashi or something, and you know, Tekashi was like surrounded by bodyguards and screaming out, "Oh, I'm in your city, blah blah blah, like do something." And I mean, do you think it could have stemmed maybe from that? I mean, it was one of YG's associates, another rapper that was like just yelling at him.
Let's be clear. I don't want to implicate anybody in any shootings, so we're not gonna do that. But what I can tell you is, if you out here and you want to get to talking all this shit, motherfuckers is gonna clip up. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it will always be. So, Tekashi, from what I see, when I see him on his Twitters and YouTubes and things like that, he doesn't seem fazed by it. So if he's prepared, he's prepared. You know what I mean? Kudos to him. He winning. I personally don't really subscribe to his sound, but I do respect his hustle as a person just going out there and taking what he wants. You know what I mean? I respect that. But for me, these boys got to be careful. What happened to Tekashi, or however you say his name, he
had no security too.
But at the same time, you know, if you look at the aggression in his videos, some could say that a person like that might have egged on people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying to kill anybody is quote unquote right, but what I'm trying to allude to here is there's a new culture of no consequences in people's actions, or at least that's what they think it is. Whereas in reality, you always got that one motherfucker, whether you $1,000 richer than him or $100,000 richer than him, he can still get to your ass some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
So the thing is, 2018, do you think it's worth it to even be involved in that kind of life? I mean, even like now, Tekashi's gotten super rich, #1 hits. Is it really worth it for him to be out there trying to prove that he's more gangster than everybody else?
I mean, you gotta always have your roots in play. Me, I'm an artist who I try to make music about my feelings inside, and I try to be a representative of someone who isn't afraid to be vulnerable. But I come from the streets, and I'm the kind of person that if it came down to it, I'd blow your motherfucking head off.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even a gangster. But there is always going to be a part of me that represents a portion of that. You get what I'm saying? So a person like Tekashi, who came up with that being his main swag, he's got to be. You feel me? For pretty much ever. I mean, look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z is the most well-known person for becoming a billionaire off of drugs.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yet, he long since let everybody know, of course I ain't doing that dumb shit now.
Yeah, it's far removed.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But when you listen to him talk, you can still hear that hustler swag in him. You can still feel what he really represents. Mm-hmm. And to say it about the king, P. Diddy, because right now P. Diddy is the #1 hip-hop personality.
Yeah, he's a mogul. Yeah.
In Forbes list. He's #1 as of 2017.
Now, when it starts messing up your money...
But hold on. I wanted to say that point to bringing up Diddy. He once said that my business is about the streets, but it's not in the streets.
Yeah.
So that never goes away, just to answer your question fully. But go ahead.
When it starts messing up the money, it messes up the shows. And, so, you know, people like Nicki Minaj or Kanye West, they've been in this industry for so long. You know, they've made so much money from it. When somebody appears to just be not worth the risk or too much trouble to be around because what could be associated with them, or what comes along with them, when it starts messing up the business, is it worth it to do all that when maybe next year like that, the money's going to slow down, or people might not want to book you for shows because, something could happen, you're a liability. Is it really worth it?
Well, as far as worth goes, I think this new age has figured out a way to create its own worth. Because I've been following Cardi B for the last, I'd say, 6 months. And she has been in and out of everyone's mouth on Twitter and YouTube heavily. One of the best reporter who's covered her is the Empress Show. I don't know the name of the host of Empress, but she's really great at, impressive, not Empress, impressive. She's really great at laying out the lines of good and bad when it comes to the music industry without being biased. She just tell it like it is. And what I notice is it didn't stop Cardi B at all. Right. She kept on being her outlandish self, but she's still making buku paper. And basically, to answer your question, is it worth it? I'd say it's worth it if you can manage to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, when the shootings happen and stuff in hip hop or some type of altercation happens, it seems like they almost do like a press run off of it. Exactly. It gets their name even more.
No such thing as bad press.
Speaking of that, with all the legal issues he's had and all that, there's been a judge that actually rules now that he can't be around anybody affiliated with the gang, and that means that his whole crew, he can't have them around because they're allegedly, affiliated with the gang. Do you think going on in the future that's going to be a problem for him, or do you think it could potentially get him jammed up again?
He's definitely got a brand established, so at this point in time, he could move forward probably without any help from his gang affiliations anymore. The problem with that, though, is you can't just leave behind the people who helped you get there. Yeah. And he definitely benefited from that gang culture. So them brothers deserve their checks. Yeah. You feel me? So would I say it's a problem? Yeah. But also, if I know Tekashi to be a real one, he's still going to find a way to make sure that his peoples get access when they need access. Feel me?
And the last thing before we wrap this up, do you think just the style of music that he's making and everything and all the antics that are going on, can you see him being here 5 years from now and maybe being still as big as he is, or like, for example, Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas, like, we're talking 20 years later, they're still as big as they ever was.
Speaking of which, shout out to my boy Nas. He just dropped his album, and the video is on YouTube. Y'all check that out because it's actually dope.
Do you think he'll still be here, or do you think he's just going to be a memory?
Well, he's made enough money to where he will definitely still be here. But will he be the kind of person whereas he made hits so great that people still going to be banging him 20 years later? I'm not sure. It depends on how the new parents are teaching this generation coming. For me, personally, I think his music is only memorabilia of this time period. I honestly don't think it has any standing in other time zones. So for me, no.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with it too. I think in a few years, people are going to forget, and it plays into a lot of the antics and a lot of the baggage that comes with him too. I mean, you don't hear about a P. Diddy, an Eminem, a Jay-Z, where people are calling them out or trying to shoot at them.
They're the greatest of all time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's why he's saying that, folks.
I think the music, it wouldn't transcend time either. You can listen to those guys, you can listen to shit from 1998, and it still is relevant today.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah.